Hi guys, and welcome back here to another tutorial. And in the previous one we were setting up the scene, and now we have all the scenes set up. So now we have here the characters, but as you notice that you can't do anything with this, so we just have to carry on with our implementation. So in games like Darkest Dungeons, the main source of control you have is your cursor, so it's the mouse, right? Or if you play on the Switch, it will be like a, touchscreen, whatever, but main is the mouse. So we need to set up our player controller to handle this stuff, right? So the first thing we need to do here is that on the player controller, when we enable that, I think we have something like show cursor or something. Is that the one? Show mouse cursor. So if you press that to true and you compile and save, that's it. Now you have your mouse showing up to the characters and stuff. Now, so the next thing we need to basically figure out, it's a way of selecting the characters, or when we hover the characters, we need to be able to at least do something like this. So I think we have something called on the class settings called generate or mouse events, I think. So it's enable click events, touch events, mouse over. I'm gonna enable all this, and I think we do have everything ready. Right, so now we got all these things enabled. Now if I'm mistaken, we do have like on clicked on release. Let me double check. What does he do? Like, I don't want to do that. I just want to... yeah, we do need to do this. Sorry. Let me just try to do this. So, self. Let's just do a print, and let's see what happens. So it's not capturing what we are trying to do. So let me just double check. So we have on click event. There's a couple of ways we can actually do this. I think there's something like get heat. This one, get heat results under cursor by channel. We can actually do this one. So we can actually do that. So I'm just gonna remove this. So instead of doing that, we're just gonna basically use this heat event under the cursor, and then we can see if we can play with that, right? So we're trying new things here. So I'm just gonna go and create here input. Now, if you don't know how input works, it's very simple. We can go back here to gameplay, I think, no, input. So we need to first to create an input and mapping context. I like to call IMC, and this is gonna be called, let's say, master turn. That's the name of our game. And now we need to set up an event for this, which is going to be, let me just go back here to game input action called EA mouse click, right? Click. Now on the mouse click, we don't need to do anything. Just go back to this IMC. I'm gonna add a new mapping. This new mapping, it's going to be this mouse click, and the trigger button is going to be the left click. Okay. Now to use this is a little bit complicated, but you just have to go here to your controller, and I think it's called input context. Is that the one? No, that's not right. Let me just copy from the Unreal Engine, because this is one of the things that like you do it once and then you don't do it anymore, right? This one's called add mapping context. That's the one we need to find, right? Okay, that's easy. So I'm just gonna on begin play. We had this here. We're gonna go back here to the inputs, but no, for this, for the main. One thing I like to do here, guys, right click on the folder and add this to your favorites, because you're gonna be going back to this folder a lot. So it's gonna save you time. And I'm just gonna add it right there. Perfect. Compile and save. Now to use this event, right, it's very simple, right? Very simple. What you're gonna do, sorry, by the way, you need to use this one, the IMC master turn. Make sure you added them here, okay? Make sure the priority is 0, because it means it's the first one. Right, so what we are going to do is that we're going to create a new graph called inputs, and then in the inputs we're going to add this IA mouse click, and then we are just going to do on completed, just going to just print string, and look. So once it's completed clicking, we got that stuff running. Now what we can do is that we can copy this and go back and paste it down, right? And I think we can maybe break this, and I can do on completed, and I can just do a print here. Let's see if this is working. Hello. So it's definitely getting something. So I'm clicking here. Now what I can do is I can break this, and I can see blocking heat. So I can also do another branch, or you can do something like, if you want something like end, probably be best for this case. It's just a clean way of writing this, right? And I want to get the object, so I want to get the heat actor, right? So I'm just going to print here, and I'm going to add the heat actor. Let's see. So if I click on this cube, but if I click on that floor, so it's heating the floor, but not the character. This may be a problem. So what we need to do is that we need to go back here to the browse to assets, to the main one, master character, because we created the main one. Let's go back here to the capsule, and let's search for the collision. I think right now it's set up to pawn, but it doesn't not have a visibility. So let me just go back to block all and see what happened. There you go. You see? I can click on the character now. Basically, it's just because of this. What I would recommend to do, I think, is go to custom. Let's go to custom. And I think the visibility we can do like, let me just put ignore. I'm not sure if this is going to cause issues. That's fine, yeah. So we're going to put visibility to that, and everything else just leave it like here. The reason why I did this, it's because sometimes our camera may be in front of it, and I don't want the camera to interfere. So I'm just going to put it to, and I'm not using the camera to do anything special, so we can just leave it here. So as you can see, everything is working fine. And I can actually do things on it, which is perfect, right? Now, one thing we need to do here is that we have to make sure that when we click on the character, we display a little UI with his information, and that's gonna be the easy part, right? Then after we need to figure out which one is your character, which is your character. So before I finish here, I'm just gonna start to set up this. And then the next one, we start with this logic of implementing on the character. So this information, I like to create now using a different approach, which is basically I put everything inside dash main, but every time I create a new function that's kind of reusable across any character, I like to create as a module. So module. Then inside the module, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to call this character info, right? Character info. So what I can do here, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go back to blueprints. I'm going to search for an actor component. I'm going to call this BPC, and the component name, it's going to be called, let's say, character stats. Perfect. And this is fine. We don't need to change anything in the component. The only thing we are going to do here is that I'm going to create a new variable. This is going to be a structure called st character info, or character stats. You can just stats. Perfect. And basically, we're going to keep everything here in terms of health, mana, stamina, items you have, money, you know, all the name of the character. For example, here we have name, right? And we are going to basically put name. So keep name as name. Perfect. Now we just need to use this on the character stats, right? I'm just gonna basically delete that, and I'm gonna go back to variables, character stats, search for character stats. Make sure this is public, and you expose this on spawn. Okay. Replication, you can put replicated, although our game is gonna be single player, so we're not gonna focus too much on this. And here's the beauty of this thing. So components, what we can do with it is that imagine that this is your character, and this is your component, right? So what you can do with this is that you can put all your logic you want. So you can all your inventory system, all the stuff here, and they are linked together on this character. So you just reuse the component. So you write once and you use it multiple times. So you don't have to waste your time writing this stuff again. Because if you write this on the character, you may have enemies that they behave differently. Maybe a boss, you want to do something different, so it blocks you out a little bit. So to use a component, super easy. It's the easiest thing in the Unreal. I'm going to edit this friend. I'm going to go back to the master class, right? You're going to go back here to components. You're going to search for this, and there you go. You got a component up and running. Now, here's one thing I would like to do for this to work properly is that because we are working with a little bit of an unknown situation right now, you see I'm clicking on the character. I need to get information on him, right? But on the player controller, we need to be able to get, we need to be able to cast this to a master character so we can get a name. So we can do something like this. Cast to master character. Right, and I can, for example, get get name. Oh, sorry. Now we need to get this one, character stats. That's the name of the component we create. Right, so we get a character stats, get name, or get character stats. And then what I can do is to break this, and now I can print the name of the character, right? So for example here, what I can do is that for this character, the first one, I'm gonna click on here, the stats, and I'm gonna assign a name. It's gonna be, let's say, Mario 1, right? And this is gonna be Mario 2. And here, we can just play out and say like Wario, or what's a good name for, I'm just gonna put enemy 1. We can put Wario as well. And now we can add it here as well, enemy 2. Perfect. Now I think so this should be fine. Let's double check. Yeah, saved. Now look at this. Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, Mario 1, and enemy 1. And that's it. You basically got the information of the character. So my idea is that you click on it and it loads the UI of the character. So the enemies, they're always going to be displaying all the time. But the character we have only when we click, or maybe only when it's your turn. I'm not entirely sure. I know that on the Darkest Dungeons, they are always displaying all the time. But maybe I can do something like different here. All right. But here we go. So now we can click, we can trigger objects and stuff. And in the next lesson, what we are going to do here is that we're going to create a very basic health, mana, and stamina system. Very simple stuff, because by doing this, we're going to allows us already to create our game and do all sorts of things. And remember, then we have to build the whole card system, but we are going to be doing this. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.